Welcome to Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast, a place where real conversations meet real hope. This is the show for anyone who's ever walked through a tough season, faced a hard chapter, or even needed a reminder that they are not alone. Here we share uplifting, encouraging conversations and have some fun along the way as they meet people from all walks of life and different journeys they're facing, or been through, or gone through. This podcast is built on one simple truth. Everyone has a story, and your story matters. Whether it's a struggle of faith, resilience, hope, healing, or growth, it has the power to encourage someone who is walking, could be walking, to a similar road right now. At Chit and Chat, I believe even in difficult seasons, hope can rise, that inspiration can be found in honesty, and that encouragement has the power to change a moment, even if for a second. So, wherever you're listening or watching, know this: you are seen, you are valued, and you matter. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast, where it's always about encouraging someone, somewhere. Welcome. Welcome back to Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. So glad you're back for another fun, uplifting, encouraging episode. This podcast is always about encouraging others, and I believe our speaker today, our guest today, embodies that as well. We have a lot in common about encouraging others. In addition to today's show, I'm featuring two brand new songs by singer-songwriter Don Ricks and Gary Pratt. I'll be featuring them at the end of the show and sharing their music. Also, we have two brand new sponsors, Chit Chat Great Escape and Wine About It. We'll be sharing with them at the end of the show as well. So if you're in the area, be sure and check them out. I'm looking forward to today's show, episode number 5 of 2026. Episode overall 152. We're slowly approaching 200, kind of crazy. Our guest today embodies courage, resilience, and the kind of quiet strength that changes lives. She is a retired Navy captain and a Commodore who led a regime of 1,800 soldiers in the Iraq War. She is a civil engineer who worked on massive, high-stakes projects, including building a bridge across the Euphrates River that was 1,000 feet long, and many other big-time projects. What inspires me most about her is just who she is. She's someone who's walked through pressure, danger, responsibility, uncertainty, and chooses to rise and to lead and to encourage others with her. And if you're listening today and you're facing something hard, maybe something overwhelming, I believe her story is an encouragement and may help you in whatever you're facing. But before I introduce my guest, we have some little commercials for our sponsors, Tequiza Street, and Lone Star Donuts. So check them out, and we'll be back to introduce our guest. Are you getting hungry? Head on down to Tequiza and Tequiza Street in Silverdale, where they have 6 kinds of tacos waiting for you. Perhaps get your order to go and take it home. Maybe buy lunch for someone. And come on down and try our great tasting flavors, chimichangas, grilled jalapenos, and much, much more. And buy a gift card for that special someone. Get a platter for the whole family and have some great tasting, authentic Mexican food and street fries as well. That's Tequiza and Tequiza Street in Silverdale. Great tasting, authentic Mexican food made fresh. Craving something sweet, fresh, and downright unforgettable? Swing by Lone Star Donuts, where every donut is made hot, handcrafted, and packed with Texas-sized flavor from over 50 flavors. From classic glaze to bold new creations, there's perfect bite waiting for you at Lone Star Donuts. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chit and Chat, Jenn Donahue.
Welcome to Chit and Chat. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. How are you doing?
Doing well. Second cup of coffee. I think I'm doing a little better. Has to kick in. There you go. Yeah, I got mine as well. So yeah, we're coffee buddies there for sure. I'm excited to have you on today and hear about your story and just my the podcast is about encouraging others and sharing positivity. So before we get into building bridges and leading platoons, I like to throw some icebreaker questions to my guests, kind of pick their brains a little bit. Are you ready for the first one?
I'm ready.
All right. So during your military time, where are some places you visited that you recommend going on vacation?
Hmm. Well, obviously Hawaii. Hawaii is always great, but I got sent to Fiji three
Mm,
times.
okay.
And even though it's way out there, the people were lovely. So I would say, you know what? Go to Fiji if you can swing it.
Nice. All right. Yeah, you could use some warm weather. I'm in Washington State, a little chilly up here. So yeah, I like warmer weather for sure.
Well, I'm just down south of you in Oregon,
All
so
right.
we got snow this morning.
Oh, you can keep it. When you were growing up, what were some of the jobs you wanted to do, like in your teen years and in your early adult years? And when did the military kind of slowly become part of your life?
I always knew that I wanted to build. I didn't really know or understand what that meant as a kid, but I just knew that I loved to build things. Most girls were playing with Barbies. I was playing with the Barbie dream house. Like that was fun for me. Like I was building it and I was tearing it down and I was reconfiguring it. And so I loved the idea of building. I decided to become love math, love science. Went to Texas A&M, got my engineering degree, and whenever I was a junior, I started to look around at my friends and they were all going to go down to Houston and, get jobs down there. And I just thought, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to go out and I want to see the world and I want to experience it. And I want to meet new people and go different places. And so I looked and I wound up going to the US Navy. And boy, they sent me all over the place. And it was like, I will never look back. That was such a great, great choice as opposed to just, going down to Houston.
Right, right. Who are some people in your life that believe in you, who helped you encourage, believe in yourself, and especially in trying times where you kind of doubted yourself? You have some people in your life who kind of mentored you and kind of helped you.
I did. I didn't have too many mentors at the time. I just don't feel like that was really a thing that was being advanced in the military. But I did
Mhm.
have some really good friends, and we were all very encouraging to each other. I have my battle buddy, which I always talk about, the importance of having a battle buddy in your life. His name is Doug. And so he was always great at encouraging me. My mom is super supportive. Like she is an incredibly supportive mom. She's really nervous about me going into the Navy, but she just has supported me the entire time. My husband, yesterday was our 26th wedding anniversary, and I would say he's
Congratulations.
probably thank you. I was going to say he's probably the number one supporter of everything that I've done.
This is where you and I have some familiarity. I also served. I was a radioman in the USS Truxton from 1989 to 1993. Did many Westpacks, uh, Hong Kong, Thailand. I saw the seven seas. Oh my God, Captain loved the seas. Being out there and just being around guys and your group was always cool.
Yeah.
I just love seeing amazing places. It was so awesome.
That's one of the great things about the military is, you sort of put up with all of the, I guess, just the BS of some of the things that you just have to do. It's
Mhm.
the people. It's the people and the camaraderie and the ability to go and see new places. That's really cool stuff right there.
Would you mind giving us a little brief thought about yourself, where you're from, and maybe your favorite snack too?
Oh, favorite snack. Okay, so bio about myself. I was born in Detroit, raised in West Texas, and left West Texas and then kind of moved all over the world just from the Navy. And then my husband was in the FBI. So we wound up in San Francisco for a long time. I'm an engineer, have a PhD from UC Berkeley. Don't worry, I'm not a hippie. But, but yeah, I survived, 6 years at UC Berkeley and got that. Um, I'm a new author. My book comes out next month. I'm a speaker. Let's see what else. That's kind of like, kind of ties everything together.
Mhm.
But my favorite snack, I don't eat a lot of snacks, but it would probably, I mean, if this counts as a snack, like Reese's peanut butter cups, is that
Okay.
a snack or is that a dessert?
We can go either or both.
Okay. Yeah. We're going with Reese's peanut butter cups then.
Kind of what we're craving you're in for. I love popcorn, so I'm a popcornaholic.
Ooh.
When you're looking back at your journey, what you've been through and gone through, was there a moment in your life that reminds you of, wow, I made it through fill in the blank? How did I do that?
Yes. Probably Afghanistan. I was the commanding officer of 800 people, and it was a really, really, really tough job. Not just trying to keep 800 people alive and bring them all home, but I had a horrible, horrible boss that basically just every day for 7 months just tried to, beat us all down and just yelled and screamed at us like all the time. And then kind of coming back out on the other side of that, I realized, holy moly, wow, I did it. I made it through all of that. It didn't kill me. Sometimes it felt like it was going to kill me, but you know, yeah, I made it through all of that, and so I'm pretty pleased with where I am today. It definitely it tore me down. It tore me down really hard,
Mm.
and I had to rebuild myself back up, and I'm better for it today.
What's was a process you went through and rebuilding yourself and just kind of the stuff you went through? I'm sure people out there are struggling financially, mentally, physically, and how do people kind of, first of all, you got to ask for help sometimes. It's
Right.
hard to ask for help. I'm a guy, I hate asking for directions. How do you ask for help when you're kind of just feel like you're just sinking?
I had a really hard time with that. I'm also one of those like I can figure it out myself. I'm not going to ask for help. Asking for help is weak. So I kind of went through a lot of that and
Mm,
realized that I wasn't really coming back out on the other side the way I wanted to. It was pretty dark when I came back. But I would say, I talked to some of my friends, and they were very, very supportive because, in your head, you're telling yourself all these things about, oh, you're not worth anything. Why do you even try?
mhm.
You're not as good of a leader as you thought you were. All those horrible, horrible things that your brain just comes up with. And just talking to a couple people and them saying, what are you talking about? Like, that's not who you are. Like, why are you thinking these thoughts? You know, because they can't hear the negative things that are going on in your brain. Those people that you might talk to or you might ask for help, they can't hear them. They can only see what's actually the truth. And that really helped me a lot to realize, hey, you know what? I'm making all this stuff up in my head. Listen to my friends, listen to my husband, who know actually who I really am.
Right. Is it true you helped coordinate building a bridge across the Euphrates River that was like 1,000 feet long?
Yes.
How that's insane. How'd that project go? And I'm assuming there were some lessons learned in that project.
Ooh, yeah, that was a really interesting one. So this was in Iraq, and I was the operations officer. So we had several different projects, but this one was really important. And our job was to work with the Army, because the Army, they have like a bunch of boats, which is funny that the Army actually has more boats than the Navy does. Who would guess? That's why we do this, so we can confuse the enemy. So we have the Army guys, they are in their boats, and we have to get this huge pontoon bridge across the Euphrates River, because if we're able to do this, then it cuts the travel time down by at least 5 hours to get from one side to the other.
Mm,
We were in charge of basically all of the heavy machinery work that had to get done, because we had to create a path, from the road there's cliffs, there's sand, there's everything that we have to do. We have to basically put the bridge out there. The Army's out there trying to coordinate it all. But the crazy thing is that so the Euphrates River is giving water to, the big cities in Iraq, but it was flowing so fast that we were having problems. So we had to go all the way up to the highest levels of the Iraq government and say, hey, can at the dam that's upstream, can you guys like just sort of turn it down for like a couple days, which meant that Baghdad and everybody else wasn't going to get water. So there was a whole lot of coordination that had to go on with that, and that was pretty hairy, to ask, hey, hey, Baghdad, is it okay that maybe you don't get water for 2 days so that we can install a bridge? So yeah, we had to work that one pretty tight.
When leading battalions, do you remember one of the biggest, the amount of guys you led, and what's that like leading X amount of guys, 100, 800, and being on the same page? I'm sure you work with, having department heads or leaders you pass that information to. That's really critical when it passes down something. If something gets misconstrued or misinterpreted, it could cause some serious issues.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why you have to be so clear and keep things, relatively simple. Because, think about the telephone game, where you talk to somebody and then they talk to somebody and then it gets all the way around. You have no idea what people are talking about. But if you're able to express yourself in a very clear, concise manner, and you have to think about that ahead of time. You can't just go out and say blah 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 blah. You have to really think about what am I going to say to my department heads or to my company commanders. So for me, I had to think about it, distill it down, put things in writing so that they're just absolutely clear, and then move forward. I didn't do that always at the very beginning of my career, and so it was like all over the place. But I figured it out. It's like, okay, just keep things nice and tight, and there's not that much room for interpretation
Mhm.
by other people.
So over the years, you kind of learn from yourself of what to do and not to do.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was totally messing things up in the beginning, but that's good. Whenever you're a young officer, that's the time to do it. Experiment, mess up, figure it out, learn from it, and then just try to keep growing.
I was reading, saw your bio online, and you wear many hats. You from retired captain, inspirational speaker, engineer, mentor, wife. You have a lot of hats. Which one is the heaviest hat, and which one's the lightest hat to wear? Are they all heavy?
Oh, yeah, I never really thought about weight when it comes to the hats. By the way, my husband jokes that I can't like hold down a steady job because I have so many different things going on in my life. Um,
Squirrel, 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 squirrel.
yeah. Oh, look over there. Yeah. I think right now probably the heaviest one is being an author because the book comes out in just about a month. And so there's so many things that have to be done. There's so many podcasts, so many, just getting the word out there. That's probably the heaviest right now. Probably the lightest is probably being the wife. That's one that's like it's just nice and it's easy and it's fun. So I would say that that's probably it. But it just changes. Probably in May
Mhm.
it's going to be something else. So
Which one
right
was the
right
most challenging hat that you were like, this is a lot of weight to responsibility? Just sometimes you might question yourself. Am I in the right position?
now. Oh yeah. So I retired as a Commodore. So I was in charge of 1,800 people. And the whole time I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Like, how did I wind up here in charge of all these people, responsible for all of these people? So that was, 1,800 people is a lot. And so that was pretty heavy. And we were in COVID. So nobody could do anything, but we still had to train. We still had all of these responsibilities that we still had to do, but we were in COVID. And so that was really challenging. And that's where you really try to tap into the people around you because you know what? They have good ideas that maybe you don't. And you have to be willing to listen and nurture that ability from other people to say, hey, does anybody here have some good ideas? And they feel comfortable coming to you with, might be wild, but hey, you know what? It might work. So that's how I try to lessen it a little bit by trying to bring in other people that can help.
You've accomplished so much, but is there one lesson that really changed the way you kind of you titled lessons learned in life? Something maybe a word or a phrase or something you in life going. I'm going to use that from now on in certain situations that may help somebody else who is going through a hard time or difficulty. You ever face that at all?
I do. I tell people all the time, go find something that you love.
Mm.
Go find something that you love. I know so many people that are just they're languishing. They're just so upset with where they are and what they're doing. And it's like, hey, you know what? Don't be afraid to go find what you love. I had to do that earlier in my career. I was so upset. Every day when I got home, my husband would literally stick a glass of wine out the front door and say, "Drink this before you come in the house." I mean, come on. And so I was like, okay, I can't keep doing what I'm doing. And
Mhm.
I had to make a change, and I did, and I found something that I do love. But that's what, I taught at Berkeley for a little while, and I'd get all these kids that would come in and they're like, well, my mom says I'm supposed to be at this and I'm supposed to be at that. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's awesome that your parents are trying to push you in a different direction. But I'm like, hey, don't be afraid. Don't get married to the plan. Make sure that what you're doing is something that you love, because then it's not going to feel like work. It's going to be something that you enjoy going to, even on the bad days. Yeah, we all have bad days, but at least that way, you know what? It's going to be okay because you're still doing what you love.
What's one thing you wish people understood about their own strength? Sometimes we don't think we're good enough or strong enough or mental, all these doubts in our minds.
Yeah.
What's some words of wisdom you could share with someone, maybe your personal experience that, you know what, you can do this, keep moving forward those hard times.
Here's the thing that I do, and I encourage everybody to do this. Go grab a clean piece of paper, whether that's a notebook, whether it's, grabbing something out of the printer, and literally write down all of your accolades, everything that you've done. Maybe you graduated college. Maybe you won the fourth grade spelling bee. I don't care. Write all of that stuff down. Maybe you had a really good sales call. Maybe you made a good dinner. Write all that stuff down, because what happens is that as we're starting to write all these things down, our brain is starting to remember all of those good thoughts. And as we physically write things, it's also engaging different parts of our brain as well, because we have to move our hand. We're using our eyes as opposed to just thinking about it. And as you start to read everything that you've written down, a lot of times you realize, hey, you know what? I've got a pretty good track record.
Mm.
I have results here that say otherwise to that mean little voice that's in our head saying, oh, you can't do that. No, look at what you have actually done, and really internalize it and realize that, hey, you know what? You have done great things before. What's to stop you from keeping going, doing great things in the future?
Next question was, what's one step someone can take to dare to rise? Would you get, have you discovered, and what is dare to rise? I saw a little bit on your bio a little bit. Can you share about dare to rise?
So, Dare to Rise is my company. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of Jenn Donahue Engineering. I don't know why I have to say that, but it's all about my speaking engagements. It's about workshop. It's about the book. Everything there is under Dare to Rise, and what it is it's an invitation. It's an invitation to you to just dare to rise. Just make yourself just like a little bit better today.
Mhm.
Try something a little bit new. Just take one tiny little step. That's what Dare to Rise is all about. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
And everything you've been through, what's something simple that brings you joy these days? A glass of wine, a cup of coffee, a walk in the park.
You know what? I love walking and snowshoeing with my dogs. They bring me so much joy, and they're big dogs. My
They walk
girl,
you.
kind of, yeah. Well, you let them go in the forest, but one of them's 122 pounds, one of them's 108 pounds, and just watching their joy of running through the snow and their excitement, man, how can you have a bad day when you're watching these, ginormous dogs porpoise through the snow and they're just loving life? That's one of those. That's definitely one of those things that brings me great joy.
Mm. You could go back in time and give young Jen one word of encouragement or a few words of encouragement, what would they be?
Be yourself.
Mm.
I try to be like all the others. Uh, I was the only woman in the room pretty much my entire career. And I always thought, okay, well, maybe I just need to fit in, or, and I wasn't really myself. And it was hurting the way that I was leading people. It was hurting how I felt about myself. But whenever I had the time and the space to try to figure out who is the authentic Jenn Donahue and how does she want to lead people,
Hmm.
oh man, things were so much better at that point, because I'm very empathetic. I love creating teams. I love listening to people. I love trying to pull all the best ideas out of them to do something. And whenever I realized that I wasn't one of those officers that was going to say, you do this and you do that, and you over there do something. Whenever I realized, like, hey, let's all come together, let's try to figure this out. Um, wow, everything changed. And so when I realized that, I just have to be myself. Um, that's what I would have. start early. Stop trying to stop trying to just fit in. Like
Mhm.
actually just be who you were meant to be.
Right, right. The hats you mentioned earlier, you mentioned author, your book coming out, Becoming a Warrior. Let's
Yes.
give you some time to share about that book and kind of get a prequel coming out soon, and people can look into it and how to get it as well.
Okay. So the easiest thing is go to thewarriorframework.com. And so it's going to have some information about the book. It's going to have links where you can buy the book. But here's something awesome. Okay, so first off, I'm an engineer, and all engineers are cheap, so I like to give things away. If they go and they pre-order the book before March 24th, that's the big day. If they were able to pre-order it, you put in your information. I'm going to give you a free workbook and also the first couple chapters for free. There's other things like I have a master class in there. I've got a like a Spotify list, things like that. Also, if you're interested, but thewarriorframework.com is where you can find the book. And what the book is all about is really understanding those nasty, mean little voices
Hmm.
and not necessarily just understanding them and pushing them aside, but also creating a space for more positivity within the brain. Because we were talking about this, a lot of times we're like, oh, well, we have these mean voices, and it's like it's telling us that we're not worthy or that we're not good enough, that we're a fraud. That's the negative bias of the brain. And so what we want to do is we want to increase the positive bias of the brain. And so I have several ways that we can basically amplify the more positive voices that are in our head, because we actually can retrain the brain in order to do so. And so the book is really about like, hey, how do you get from having a goal, having a dream, and actually just doing it. And we might have those voices, but how do we say, hey, you know what? You need to go sit on the bench, and listening more to that positive voice, which is what I call my internal warrior. And we all have one, is that voice that says, hey, you know what? I want to do this. I know we can do this. And listening to that and amplifying that more than that mean little voice.
I read a review, you might know about it, by Alden Mills, excuse me, former Navy SEAL. Says Jenn Donahue is the real deal. With compassion, she hands you the playbook for leading strength, authenticity, and you will feel ready to step up and stand out to become a warrior. A must read. How cool was that when someone says about that to you, to your book, and you're like, ooh, I get little jitters. That's kind of
Yeah.
amazing.
It actually makes me like, I just got little tears in my eyes. It's just, I wrote this book to help people.
Yeah.
I wrote this book, this book is not for me. This book is for helping others, helping them maybe get out of a dark place in their life, and you know, how to continue on, or just, maybe they have a goal or a dream and they just need that little bump, that little bit of encouragement, and so just to hear that kind of thing, and oh man, it's just amazing. It's just really amazing to hear that type of thing.
It's very similar to what my podcast has done. I did it for about 3 years straight. It took about a year off, and really getting back doing video now. So my first 3 years was all audio, so you couldn't see the people face to face. So it's nice
Right.
seeing a face. It's nice seeing a smile. It's nice seeing their compassion and their heart. And you speak to people all over the world about courageousness, leadership, resilience, overcome obstacles, just like I do. And
Yeah.
your audience is huge. If I can encourage one person, and my mantra, that's all that matters to me. Is that kind of where
Right.
you're at? If you can encourage just one person wherever they're at.
Oh, absolutely. I think about whenever I'm up on stage giving a keynote, it's like if I can help one person in the audience, just one,
Hmm.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Maybe that person just needed it. They just needed to hear something that day. They're like, okay, I got this. Think
Yeah.
about amplifying that. Think about, trying to do good for the world. That if you can help that one person, just think that one person might be able to help another person. And on it goes. And so that's what it's all about, is just trying to spread positivity, trying to help others, trying to give them courage, whatever that might be. So, yes, it's about just helping that one person at a time.
Making my eyes water now. Thanks so much. Of the topics you talk about,
Yeah.
which one's the hardest personally for you to live out? Is it being courageous or resiliency or something else that really you're like, ooh, this was a tough one to talk about? How can I really express that for others?
I I think it has to come with I have this story about, Afghanistan and my horrible boss and trying to pull myself out. Whenever I tell that story about trying to figure out who you are again when you have had these dark places, that one always gets me. Like it just gets me like right in the heart, and it's like kind of like almost opens up that wound all over again. But talking through it and understanding, okay, you know what, I got through that. That's what's really helpful. I have other stories that they are just wild and crazy assassination attempts and all kinds of other fun stuff. And it's just like those are actually kind of fun to talk about because you talk about, oh, I had an assassination attempt, and everybody's like, oh, and it's like, yeah, I know, let's talk. But really talking about those really hard, dark days, those are
Mhm.
the ones that they're still heavy. But there's others that are out there that are probably experiencing the same thing. And if I'm able to show that, hey, you know what, I can do it, it might give them the hope that they can too.
Mhm. As we begin to close out a little bit, any, let's see, my notes go. It's just all about encouraging others and sharing positivity.
Yeah.
This world is a crazy place and a lot of negativity. I try to avoid the news like the plague. I'm like, why? I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
I just love the Bible verses. I do inspirational quotes. I just trying to make someone's day a little bit better.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, what are some closing words you'd like to share with people out there, maybe who've gone through hard times, trials, tribulations? Some encouraging words you can help with someone today.
All of us are fighting our own internal battles. Some of them are really big. Some of them might be small at the moment. But just realize that you're probably stronger than you want to give yourself credit for. And there are others out there who can help. And yeah, you might have to ask for help, but just simply talking to people about what's going on in your life, I think that's something that we probably need to do a little bit more of.
Mm. Thank you so much for this time. And I'm hoping people can reach out to you. And how can people reach out to you actually and maybe schedule you at a conference or a leadership class and maybe get you connected here up in the PNW and we can have coffee sometime?
Oh, absolutely. Uh, so probably the easiest way is you can go to jendonahue.com, Jen with two N's. And there's a form that's at the bottom if you want to reach out to me. That's a great way. Or just find me on LinkedIn. I've got, I'm always on LinkedIn, and I've got, some always trying to put out very relevant tips, for whatever you may need. And so just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Jenn Donahue, PhD, PE at on LinkedIn. But you know what? I'd like to hear your stories too. If you've overcome something, like let me know. I'd like to hear about it.
Yeah, I saw you on Facebook this morning promoting, I think it was your book or something, and just kind of a little blurb in there. And I'm excited to have you on today. And really, I've been to the mentality of I'll ask anybody. I'm not afraid to get it for a no. I'm not afraid for a maybe or no response. You never know till you ask. So thank you so much for the time today. We can stick around for a few seconds afterwards. You just got to catch up a little bit. But thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun. And let me just tell you, thank you for what you do. For you and what you do for your followers is very important. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And now I'd like to introduce our song today by Don Ricks. It's called Tennessee Miles. It's a heartfelt country anthem that captures the grit, hope, determination woven into life's long journey. The song blends heartful vocals with authentic, self-penned lyrics, creating a review of pure magic and a real heartfelt, inspiring message about never giving up. Ladies and gentlemen, this song, Tennessee Miles, by Don Ricks. Check out our website at donrix.com.
My heart shattered like a windshield, my pockets like a gaslight on E. Three bald tires and a shady spare, but way too tired to care about anything but chasing the dream. This old gal ain't giving up. Yeah, I know the odds are tough. I still got blacktop left to burn and songs the world ain't never heard. In the rearview mirror I see the little girl I used to be, and she still loves to ride. once did. Each gray hair, it tells a story, but it's nowhere near the end. Yeah, the future's in my hands. This old gal ain't giving up. Yeah, I know the odds are tough. Still got blacktop left to burn, and songs the world ain't never heard. In the rearview mirror I see the little girl I used to be, and she still loves to ride these Tennessee miles. Dollar tips and broken strings, calloused hands and neon dreams, empty crowds and sleepless nights. I still believe it's worth the fight. This old gal ain't giving up. I know the odds are tough. I still got blacktop left to burn, and songs the world ain't never heard. In the rearview mirror I see the little girl I used to be, and she still loves to ride. Oh, I still love to ride these Tennessee miles. Stars in the Nashville sky shine as bright as they once did.
Think you're smart? Perfect. Time to prove it. Head over to Kids Up Great Escape and put those expert escape skills to the test. Grab your friends, your family, maybe that coworker who claims they can escape anything. Let's see how confident they are when the clock is ticking. Because once that timer starts, you'll be yelling random numbers and blaming each other for the wrong guesses and arguing about which lock goes to which key and somehow bonding harder than ever. That's team building at its finest. Stuck? No shame. The game masters are there to guide you when your brilliant strategy suddenly disappears. Make it out in time, you might make it on the leaderboard with your team's name on the headlights. So think of something legendary. Ready to book? Call them at 360-633-7512 or head over to kidsupgreatescape.com and book your room today. You'll find them at 9481 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, Washington. They have great rooms to conquer, 3 of them actually: Submergency, Mystical Manor, and for those who can unleash your inner detective, Kidnap County. And there's another escape room under construction, so be sure to follow their Facebook page so you'll know when it opens. Before you leave, check out their merchandise to help you remember that time you were locked in a room for an hour. Coins, pens, apparels, maybe to help you just tolerate you're with for an hour. That's the Kidnap Great Escape in Silverdale. The only question is, are you getting out? Had a long day? Maybe even a longer week? Come on down to Wine About It, located inside Town Square Mall in Port Orchard, Washington. It's a place where the wine is good and the vibes are cozy, and no one judges you for saying, I'll take that one in pink. Whether you need a break to get away, celebrating a special night, just hanging out with the wife, like I have, Wine About It is a place to be. They offer great wines and charcuterie boards. They're located at 1700 Mile Drive in Port Orchard. They have a Facebook page too. Please go follow it. They have a lot of upcoming events, from trivia night to paint and sip nights. So be sure you follow so you don't miss out. Give them a call at 360-443-2473. Barbara's awesome. She loves to chat with you. Wine About It, because therapy is expensive and wine is delicious. In Kitsap County, when you're going through, stop by and check out these sponsors: Tequila Street, Lone Star Donuts, Wine About It, and the Kids Up Great Escape. supporting locally owned and operated businesses here in Kitsap County, in Silverdale, and Port Orchard. Got another great song lined up for you today. Michael Stover reaches out to me from MTS Management, as a lot of musicians he works with, and so he got in contact with me. So I'm playing a song by one of his guys, Gary Pratt. His song called Red Barn. It was released in April 25, 2025. And this song sometimes takes you back to those back roads, late nights, the little red barn out in the middle of the field. We've all passed a red barn, right? Driving somewhere. So it's a good fun country song with a heart and a whole lot of rhythm. This is Gary Pratt, Red Barn.
Heard your dad is out of town. He'll be gone at least a week. Ain't nobody down at your place except the chickens, cows, and sheep. It must get kind of scary out there by yourself when it starts getting dark. What you say, I come over, park my Silverado in your little red barn. I could bring a case of beer or something stronger if you like. We could hang out in the hayloft or slow dance in the full moonlight. No, we can't disturb no neighbors, and you feel a whole lot safer once I take you in my arms. What you say, I come over, park my Silverado in your little red barn. Nobody will ever know I can be discreet. I can leave when the rooster crows, or I can stay awake. No need to be alone out on that big old farm. What you say, I come over, park my Silverado in your little red barn. Hey! Oh, when the morning comes, I'll be glad to do some chores. A little sugar with my coffee, then I'll hit the great outdoors. Baby, I can crank your tractor, I can bale your hay. You just lay out in the yard. What you say, I come over, park my Silverado in your little red barn. No need to be alone out on that big old farm. What you say, I come over, park my Silverado in your little red barn. You'll be gone at least a week. Little red barn in your place.
Well, we are here at the end of the show. So thankful for Jenn Donahue for sharing her story, joining the show today. I love how she and I are on the same page of encouraging others and sharing positivity and just inspiring others. Special thanks to Don Ricks and Gary Pratt for allowing me to share the music with you today. And until next time, let's keep going, keep growing, keep believing. Your story matters. Your story can inspire someone around the world. Please follow the podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you can find the podcast. Love sharing encouragement and positivity. And if this encouraged you, this show encouraged you, let me know. Reach out to me and say, hey, I love your story, love your content. It's always about encouraging others And my name is Jody, and this is Chit Chat, the encouraging one, another podcast. What's always about encouraging others. See you next time.